Yo, what's going on guys? Jeremias here, welcome back to another video. And today I'll be discussing Sonic Frontiers, which was just revealed last night at the Game Awards. I'll not only be giving you some of my thoughts on the trailer itself and what the game looks like, and also going over everything we know about the game, including some stuff that wasn't in the trailer, and there's also a few things that I uncovered myself which I haven't seen people cover yet. So yeah, let's get into it. Anyways, going into my thoughts on the trailer as a whole, I thought it was alright. The CGI animation looked amazing. Obviously the in-game or in-engine graphics looked amazing as well. It's definitely going to be the best looking Sonic game when it comes out. We got to hear what I thought was the Ghost Girl at first, but it turns out it might not actually be her and it might be someone else, which is something I'll go more into later. We got to see all these ancient looking structures and stuff, which all looked really cool. And we did get to see an in-game shot of Sonic and a good view of the open world. Sonic seems to have the same exact model that he's had in Lost World and Sonic Forces, with the same idle pose that doesn't have any sort of animation at all, which is a little unfortunate, and it does seem to be one of the bigger concerns that people have. But I honestly wouldn't be too worried about that just yet. We still have about a year until the game releases, so there's still a lot of time to, give them some animations and maybe even change the model if they want to. And also, we don't know exactly when this footage was taken. It could be from a long time ago. If you remember, we were able to find out that the original teaser for Sonic Frontiers that we saw at the Sonic Central was actually from February 2020, which was over a year before we got to see it. So the same thing could definitely apply here. So by the time we get some actual gameplay, they definitely could be showing off some new idle animations and maybe a new model as well. Also, if you remember when Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric was first announced, in the reveal trailer, the models look completely different from the final game. And by the time we got our second gameplay trailer and screenshots of the game and stuff like that, they already had the new models ready, which were the ones that eventually made it into the final game. So the very same thing could happen with this. Just putting that out there for those of you who were worried about this. Even though if it does end up being like this in the final game, I wouldn't really mind it too much as long as the actual game is good. And speaking of gameplay, that was probably the biggest concern everyone's been having about this trailer, is that there's no actual gameplay. While there are some obvious in-game shots, or at least in-engine shots of the game, we don't really see Sonic running around and doing anything really. There's just that one shot of him in-game which I just mentioned, and that was it. And I totally understand that concern, but again, I'm not too worried on this either, because I don't believe that they didn't show it because they have nothing to show, or they can't show it, or they're not ready. I think they're just didn't show up because they're simply waiting on that, and they want to fully reveal that gameplay probably early next year, which is the usual schedule when it comes to Sonic games. Usually we get that big gameplay reveal early in the year, in the same year that the game comes out. So I think in a few months we'll probably see something. And as for what the open world itself looks like and how it looks like it'll play, yes, there's a good amount of sort of empty fields, but honestly most open world games have just empty field areas with that anyways, and in the final game there's probably going to be enemies scattered around as well, because we didn't see any of that either. And in the trailer you can also see very clearly areas where you'd actually have to use your momentum, build up your momentum to get to certain areas, especially in this section right here with this path going along the mountain. I think you're definitely going to need to sort of build up your momentum to run up that wall and get to a certain area. There's probably going to be more areas like that as well. The Ubisoft towers, they definitely look like they have a good amount of platforming in them and momentum based stuff with some loops and whatnot. So with that said, it definitely looks like this open world will play more like Sonic Adventure, as it doesn't really seem like it's built for boost. There's also some platforming sections that you can clearly see on this mountain here, and there's even a rail there which you're obviously going to be able to grind on. So if you're concerned about how the open world looks like, definitely go back and take a closer look. You could definitely see a lot of stuff going on here and get an idea of how the game will play. I think with this trailer they definitely just want to show off the scenery and the graphics, and we'll probably get a way better look at the gameplay and how it all works, like I said, early next year when they decide to show that off. And like I said, I think for sure Sonic is going to control like he does in the adventure games, and there isn't going to be boost, at least in the open world. The boost is probably going to be reserved for the cyberspace levels that we've heard about in the leaks, as the structures that can be seen definitely look like they're more built for adventure like momentum physics, rather than just boosting through everything, which would probably be a bit unengaging in this setting. Combat is another thing that was completely unseen in this trailer, but again, like I just said, we'll probably see that early next year when the full gameplay reveal comes out. Okay, so that's basically my initial thoughts on everything. Now let's get into all the information we have that's not in the trailer. On the Sonic Frontiers website, which, if you remember, I actually did find this before the game was announced like a few days ago, we get a brief description of the game. Holiday 2022, worlds will collide in Sonic the Hedgehog's newest adventure. An experience like never before, accelerate to new heights and experience the thrill of high-velocity, open-zone freedom. Battle powerful enemies as you speed through the Starfall Islands. Landscapes brimming with dense forests, overflowing waterfalls, sizzling deserts, and more. This holiday 2022, speed into new realms. This description is also in the description of the official trailer uploads, and we actually get quite a lot with it. It tells us that open zone is what they're calling this. Well, I think that's just their fancy way of saying open world. This could also mean that the way they see the game is that it's structured in multiple very open world segments or zones, which would make sense since we now know that the game takes place on multiple islands. But I'm more leaning towards them just using that as another way of saying open world, and that's it. We have a name for this new location, and that's the Starfall Islands, and I want you to keep this in mind because it's pretty important as it relates to some new information that I uncovered, which I'll go over later in the video. We're also told of the various different biomes that we'll be seeing in the game: dense forest, overflowing waterfalls, sizzling deserts, and more. So we did see some of that in the actual trailer itself, but there's going to be others as well that we haven't seen yet. Finally, speed into new realms. That's clearly alluding to the whole cyberspace aspect of the game, which they didn't really show much of. Another thing seen in the description of the trailer is who composed the music for the trailer, and that is T. Lopes and Tomoya Otani. Although T. Lopes did confirm on Twitter that he's not composing for the actual game, and he only did the music for the trailer with Otani, and Otani of course will be doing the music for the actual game. According to an article from Game Informer, Frontiers is being developed by Sonic Team in Japan, and the director of the game is Mario Kishimoto, who also directed Sonic Colors, Sonic Lost World, and Sonic Forces, and he was also lead game designer for Sonic and the Black Knight and Sonic and the Secret Rings. As for the game's producer, we actually get that information from a Polygon article. Sachiko Kawamura will be the producer, and she is most known for being the creator and director of the Chow Garden in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, but she has been involved in many Sonic games, too many for me to list all of them here, but she was the art director in Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Generations, Sonic Lost World, and Sonic Runners. It's good to hear that someone like her, who's been involved with the Sonic series since Adventure, the first 3D game, has a large role with this first open world game. So if you are a little worried about Kishimoto being the director, which honestly I'm not too bugged about, at least rest assured that Kawamura will be producer, and she definitely knows what's up at this point. It was also officially confirmed that Ian Flynn, the writer for the Archie and IDW Sonic comics, will be writing for Frontiers, which honestly I'm not a big fan of his work, but it's a much needed change from what we've had previously. Izuka also said, Sonic Frontiers is a huge leap forward for the franchise, delivering an evolved gameplay experience that can be enjoyed by longtime Sonic fans and action-adventure enthusiasts alike. There's actually more to this quote that was continued in an IGN article. He says, we've created an all-new style of gameplay experience for Sonic the Hedgehog, where players will be able to explore lush, expansive landscapes with Sonic's signature speed and abilities. As for the story, apparently that was on the Polygon article that I just mentioned, but now that I'm looking at it, it seems to have been removed, so maybe that was a mistake. But there is a screenshot here that I can read. It says, in Sonic Frontiers, Sonic's longtime nemesis Dr. Eggman discovers an ancient technology on the Starfall Islands and installs his AI program Sage to hack in and take over. But there's more to this technology than he realizes, and unintended consequences immediately come to bear. Sonic must race against time to discover the truth, save his friends, and maybe even save himself at the same time. So yeah, that premise definitely sounds interesting, and if it's written well, it could definitely be the best story we've had in years. good to hear confirmation that Eggman is in, as some people have speculated that he might not be for whatever reason. And also it says saving Sonic's friends, so other characters are definitely going to be involved. Also again mentioning the whole Starfall Islands location, and also some stuff about an AI program, which I think is probably related to the cyberspace, like I said, which was first heard about in those leaks from earlier this year. Still no mention of the Ghost Girl, but like I said at the very beginning in my trailer analysis / thoughts segment, I did think we heard her in the trailer, although it seems like it might actually be Amy that we heard, because in the subtitles for the Xbox upload of the trailer, it does say that it's Amy talking to Sonic. And also Junichi Kanemaru, Sonic's Japanese voice actor, in a now deleted tweet did mention Amy's voice in the trailer. And while it didn't really sound like Amy to me in the English trailer, remember that early in the year, Cindy Robinson, Amy's voice actor, did confirm that she's no longer voicing Amy, so she probably did get a new voice actor. Although I do find it kind of odd that they made her speak and didn't show her at all. And also how at the end she tells Sonic, "Don't, it's too dangerous," which, as many others have also pointed out, doesn't really sound like something Amy would say to Sonic. So that pretty much covers everything we know, or at least everything that's been officially confirmed. Now, I've managed to uncover a couple leaks which I haven't seen anyone talk about, and I can assure you these leaks are 100% real. You know how I am with leaks, and I don't even talk about them on the channel unless, I'm sure that they're real. I don't fuck around when it comes to this type of stuff. Anyways, this first one comes from Twitter user Brendan Blair 64, and he said on October 1st, 2018, so this predates every single real leak that we've seen so far. Next 3D Sonic game prediction / want. I think it's time to do something new, so why not an open world adventure? I think it'd be cool if it took place on 7 different islands, as a way to avoid having invisible walls, but also have a ton of variety. We'll see. And then yesterday after the big reveal he said, "So believe it or not, I've actually known about Sonic Frontiers for a while, and I made this tweet back in 2018 as a way to have some kind of proof without actually leaking it. I'm a huge Sonic fan, so I have an intense need to brag. I didn't know a ton, only that it's an open-ended Sonic game that takes place on multiple islands that has Eggman taking control of old robots, all of which was just confirmed. I'm not 100% sure on the 7 island thing, but I guess we'll see. I don't have an uncle that works at Sega or anything. The way I learned of all this was I know someone who used to take surveys on survey sites for small amounts of money, and they eventually got a survey about the next Sonic game, and they told me about it. I thought the idea of Sega using a site like that for the next Sonic game was really strange, so I didn't fully believe it, but I made that tweet anyway just in case. When all these Sonic Rangers rumors came out, my mind was blown that they lined up 100% with what I heard. I wanted to hold out until that multiple island thing was confirmed just to have as much proof as possible, because I really don't want to be labeled as a liar. I probably will anyway, if this gets any traction, which is why I'm really hesitant to post things. And yeah, this 100% lines up, and I can understand why any of you might think he's just getting a lucky guess, but honestly, it lines up way too well. The open world, multiple islands, honestly, it's too close to be a coincidence, especially since he did this all the way back in 2018. Now, if only we could actually see these surveys that he's talking about. Well, actually we can, because guess what? I found a leak of the actual survey. A 4chan post from November 19th, 2019, so after the original tweet that I just talked about, but still way before any of the Sonic Rangers leaks. A user made a post that said, "You probably won't believe me, but I did an online survey on several ideas for video games. One is Super Mario Odyssey 2, and one is a new Sonic game set in the Starfall Islands. There are several other named prototypes. Odyssey 2 has Luigi. I went through half a dozen Sonic concepts and 2 or 3 for Mario. The Sonic game is on Switch. Don't know if it's multi-plat or exclusive. Odyssey has 20 locations. To be honest, I'm risking a lawsuit posting this. I have 38 pictures, but here's a cut of one I made with Share X." And he has a screenshot of what seems to be the Super Mario Odyssey 2 survey. And obviously nobody in the thread believes anything he's saying at this point, and rightly so, because all of this looks like something that could easily be edited. There's this screenshot of this very bizarre online multiplayer Sonic game that uses a fan render as an image in it, pause it if you want to read for yourself, but there are some pretty crazy ideas in there, and I wonder if they still have that idea under consideration. There's also another one similar to this, but for Super Mario Odyssey 2. So if Nintendo is still developing Mario Odyssey 2, you saw it here first, and there's a chance that this might end up being what the game is actually like, or similar, if they are still making that. The OP also gives a few more details about, you know, some questions he has to answer and what it's like, but most importantly, here is what we're looking for, the Sonic Frontiers leak from way back in 2019 in the survey. Here's a screenshot of it. It says Concept E, action adventure, one player, no multiplayer, a world unexplored, a new free-roaming action adventure game that propels the Sonic franchise in a bold new direction. The evil Dr. Eggman has created an amazing AI entity that has spiraled out of control. Meanwhile, Sonic wakes up, groggy and suffering from amnesia, with questions aplenty but few answers. The Sonic universe characters you love, 4 exotic islands to explore, skyscraper-sized Titan boss battles, adventure through vast terrains and explore the Starfall Islands, new close combat system and unique powerful moves to take down enemies, go supersonic mode to battle massive skyscraper-sized enemy titans, strengthen skills to level up Sonic's abilities, solve puzzles and embark on quests across 4 exotic islands and hit. That cuts off, so I can't finish reading that. And then thrilling graphics, cinematic music, and immersive atmosphere too, and it cuts off there as well. And this is absolutely no coincidence. The story lines up, Starfall Islands lines up. This is 100% Sonic Frontiers we're talking about here. He also posted a screenshot of the survey showing the potential names for Sonic Frontiers, and it shows Sonic the Hedgehog Rise of the Titans, Sonic Starfall, Sonic Freedom, Sonic Freerunner, Sonic Rising, Sonic Evolutions, Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis, and Sonic the Hedgehog Titans Rising. Like I just said, this all absolutely lines up with all the real leaks we've heard, and it predates all of them. It mentions the other characters, which were just confirmed to be in the game. One discrepancy here from the other tweet is that it says 4 exotic islands and not 7, although the guy who made the tweet said he was unsure if it was still 7, which maybe that's something that changed throughout development since this comes after that original tweet. Or maybe the survey just had a different number for whatever reason. I guess we'll have to see on that. It also specifically says Starfall Islands as the name of the location, which has already been officially confirmed. It mentions other stuff that we've heard from other leaks, like the combat, puzzles, level up system. And of course, the new information we have here is that apparently Sonic has amnesia in the game, although it wasn't mentioned in any article or anything just yet. Since this is from so long ago, there's a chance that it might not be in the game anymore, but since mostly everything else seems to have made it, I really hope and I really do think that this might probably be in the final game as well. Actually, now that I think about it, Sonic having amnesia does line up with the story outline we got that actually says that Sonic has to discover the truth. So yeah, that sounds like that actually did make it into the final game. We'll just have to wait to hear more about that. But it definitely lines up with that as well. And it sounds a lot like Shadow the Hedgehog, which I like. I think seeing Sonic, with amnesia is probably going to be something pretty unique and cool to see. And I want to do a little theory connection here with what we heard in the trailer. Supposedly Amy's voice. It sounded kind of like ghostly, and you didn't see Amy anywhere, so it could be that it's Sonic just hearing his memories or people he knows like in his head, like trying to remember it, kind of like when Shadow in Shadow the Hedgehog and in Sonic Adventure 2 would have flashbacks to like Maria and stuff that happened to him before. Maybe throughout the game you just get faint memories of the characters while you're playing or something like that. That's just my theory. Or maybe the ghost girl helps him remember stuff or something like that. I think it could definitely relate to that. Let me know what you think of this theory in the comments down below. I literally just came up with this as I was recording. I think it's pretty solid. And the other thing from this that lines up with both the leaks and what we saw in this newest trailer is the mention of these Titans. In the leaks we heard that there was a supersonic boss fight where you fought this tree-like entity. And in the newest trailer at the end we did see some huge robot, which that's definitely the Titan, and The way it's worded, it implies that you fight every single Titan boss as Super Sonic. So even with that January leak where people were wondering why he was playing the final boss, what seemed to be just a short little playtest of the game, it might not actually have been the final boss if they actually go through with making every single Titan boss Super Sonic, which would be pretty cool. And it sounds like all the boss fights, or the main boss fights, are going to be these huge Titans, and whoever is controlling them is probably going to be the major antagonist other than Eggman, because as we know, Eggman kind of started everything, but he loses control and something else takes over, probably from the cyberspace. Anyways, I don't think anyone has covered this latest bit of information about these leaks, so yeah, that was just some exclusive information for you guys. Let me know what you guys think of all of this. I'm so excited for the game. I definitely think it looks promising, and compiling all this information for this one big video for you guys, that was a lot of fun. So yeah, I'll definitely look forward to covering more Sonic Rangers as we get more information in the future. As always, make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.